What's up, ESGNet Nation, and welcome back to another episode here of the Scotties Sports Talk. Here, as we're taking a look at some of the players that you guys have submitted since really last season, and of course, you guys can always submit your players that you want to have here on the series by a little link down below in our description there. To our Discord there, or you can copy and paste the information down below, copy and paste that into the comment section down below here in the video to get a chance to be in the video or be in the series here on the channel. Now we take the first 20 people to submit players. That's what we do. If we have any, for whatever reason, like this season, we don't have a total of 20, then we, of course, my friends and I come up with some characters to put into the game. But for the most part here, the majority of the submissions you'll see here are from you guys that you guys submitted to here. And of course, we want all the information, what type of play style they are, what position, play style, all that kind of stuff. And then most importantly, a background. We want some information about players, about these players and what they're all about, and so we can have some kind of connection with them and kind of have something to talk about in videos if they happen to be on our team. And of course, you're not necessarily guaranteed on the team unless you are a Patreon member. You can be a Patreon member. There is a link down below to our Patreon. That will guarantee you a spot on the team by just simply renaming one of the freshmen that we recruit this coming season here. And for that, you just rename the player's name and rename the player and all that kind of stuff. Pick a position. I'll tell you which ones are available, the freshmen that are coming in, and then you can rename the player. So. Anyway, we're going to get to this here. Of course, we got 20 players that have been submitted to us this season. Like I said, we usually take usually all 20. This year, not so much. I think like there's like 5 maybe that we ourselves, me and my friends and I, came up with. The other 15 are, of course, all submitted by you guys. So thank you guys for who has submitted. Of course, like I said, you can make submissions. Like I said, we take the first 20 people submit players. They get into the series, and you guys let us know if you want to be on the team or if you just want to be in the series, and then we just kind of create you and just see where you go from there. And of course, I keep a track of those players that have been submitted, and I also keep a track of stats, where you're at, all that kind of stuff. So for the most part here. It's been a fun series here as we're getting ready for season 6, and of course we're trying to see if we can return back to the national championship glory that we've been in part of here. And this, like I said, for the most part here, has been a very fun series, but this season might be a little more challenging here, and we'll talk more about that in a future video here on the channel, because we'll start I think we have a bye week in week 1. So we'll give you guys a bit of a preview and, of course, an outlook on what the team needs to do and what we're hoping that we can accomplish coming up this upcoming season. So as we take a look here, of course, the recruiting board is very important. This is where we find players for next season, freshmen, or even in some cases we brought in players from the JUCO level, junior college players coming in and helping us out. So the first one is a freshman. He's a high school senior right now, and he'll be coming in as a freshman. It's D'Angelo Grant from I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say Wamego, Wamego, Kansas, and he is a middle linebacker, 6'3", 240 pounds. And a little story about D'Angelo. D'Angelo is a high school senior at Wamego High School in Potawatomi County. He moved from Wamego from Kansas City. His dad is from this area. He grew up in this area, a little small town in Kansas, but moved to Kansas City to go to college. And of course, he had D'Angelo's dad had Grant, and the family lived in the Kansas City area. And they lived in a high crime area, and his dad did not want D'Angelo to grow up in that because he himself did not grow up in that kind of stuff, in that kind of area. But he started to flourish in sports in junior high and going to high school, and so he helped his team, high school team, during the Kansas City, Kansas area, go to state his freshman and sophomore year, but last year came up short in his junior year as they were in the semifinals for state and lost by a field goal. Now he is being seen pretty much as a I believe he is a pass rushing middle linebacker there, so he's going to be very important for a lot of teams. I know we are looking at him for the most part. We're not really on his radar, but this will be a person I would like to have there to kind of help us grow as our linebacker core is really kind of aging out, and of course it's getting kind of thin now. So that's definitely one area we're going to be kind of looking at here, and possibly trying to get him. He's a local kid, so we might have a good shot at bringing him in and having him help us out. But you take a look at his numbers there. It's great speed, great strength there, of course, and of course agility and acceleration is right on par there. And then of course he looks like he has a really good awareness there, so he knows where he's at on the field and he knows what to do. And so okay, run stopper there. So he'll be good at the run stopping ability. That's what we're kind of looking for here. Actually, that's what Coach Spawn's been looking for the last couple of years now. He's found a couple of run stoppers to help him out, but he definitely would be a guy that we'd be really looking forward to bringing him onto our squad. He's a 77 now overall. See there, well, potential 75 or 77 it looks like, but there you see some of the schools looking at him: Arizona State, Colorado, and the U of all places. He's a 5-star caliber middle linebacker, and he's playing there now at his senior year here at Wamego High. So we'll see. Maybe we're not necessarily on his radar, but we're going to try our best to kind of go after him and see about trying to bring him in. He's only 2 really middle linebackers that are above 3 stars in the state of Kansas right now. So he's definitely one of those top, key guys. He can pretty much go anywhere he wants with his abilities. But of course, we're going to try our best to keep this local guy local and try to get him to come to Highland to play for us in that middle linebacker position. Great student. Got a good head on his shoulders. Like I said, a very intelligent football player. Football IQ is really top notch, and that is something we've had in the past, but we want to kind of keep that tradition alive with the linebacking core that we have right now at Highland. So there you see his numbers there: 6'3", 240 pounds, like I said, from Wamego, Kansas. And there you see his spark number there, a 73 there. So he's definitely one of the top guys out there in coming in to possibly come, playing some football there. And like I said, Arizona State, Colorado, and Miami are some of the schools that are looking at him and try to draw him into being part of their organization. Now, will he play at those schools if he happens to go to those schools early on? Probably not. He'll probably have the red shirt, but he is definitely some top-notch talent out there that those 3 schools would love to have. So Atlas Larkin, this is a young man. He is from Overland Park, Kansas. He's another local kid for us. And there you see he is a fullback, but he also can play a little bit of halfback. Now, Atlas's father played in D3 football there in St. Louis, Missouri at Washington University. He played fullback and, of course, did not get drafted into the NFL. well, with the exception of he didn't get drafted, but he came as he got signed as an undrafted free agent. Played a couple years in some different teams in the NFL. Really didn't make the team per se. He was on a lot of practice squads, but finally got a call from a arena team and played 5 years with them before retiring. And of course, he's been helping his son out. He's the same built like his son. He's 6 foot 200, or I should say, Atlas is 6 foot 225 or 230 pounds. And Atlas wants to play like more like his father. His father, talking to him, said he had a bit of a style similar to Mike Allstott, of course, Pro Bowler and well-known NFL star, played for many years there in Tampa, and that's what Atlas says he wants to do. So Atlas says he wants to try to get to a good school and try to get to that next level playing in the NFL, so he can be able to help his family buy a new home, and of course help with the family business there in Overland Park. But there you see his build, what he looks like there for the most part there. And this kid, talking to him, got a chance to talk to the family and him, and he's got a really good head on his shoulders here. And he's been he knows about Coach Teddy Bonds, and he likes the program there at Highland. He's really impressed. Or he's been saying, talking to him, he said he was been watching the team a couple of years now. He actually said he took a tour in his 8th grade year, and seeing the school and seeing all the new things. That's when Highland was just getting in the midst of playing in Division One. And he said that this was definitely a program that he would like to be a part of. He believes they're doing a lot of great things with this program, and he would like to try to help build onto that, continue the tradition, and of course, be a part of this historic dynasty that they're having right now, being in Division One. Take a look at his numbers there. He has pretty good hands there. He's more of a receiving fullback, but don't let that fool you. He can block and he can run. So he's kind of multi-talented in the back there. He's kind of a bit of that utility type of fullback that can help out, not just in the blocking game, in the pass block or the run block, but he can also, if he needs to be, he can also catch and also run the ball. So he's very good, really talented kid. And like I said, a lot of people, there's quite a few schools looking at him, majority here in the state of Kansas. So if I'm not mistaken, I think he's had quite a few offers from the D2 area, Florida State, of course, Pitt State, and I believe Fort Hays. But he says he wants to go on he feels like he can be playing at that Division One level, and which I think he can. He does have some things in his that are missing in his game, and of course he knows he needs to improve. I mean, he's willing to accept not to be able to play the first year, but I think with the talent he has, right, to be quite honest, I was looking at some of his game film, especially his junior year. He has played. He's been playing. He has his game, but like I said, he still has some issues and a lot of different things. And there you see some of the teams that are looking at. Of course, we are surprisingly enough top of his list there. He's a 3-star athlete. We haven't fully scouted him yet, but he is one of the players that we're looking at into coming to Highland and playing and possibly be. He definitely would start. I believe Coach Teddy Buns would probably start him, as there's not much a battle to say for that fullback position there. And of course, he could also definitely help us out in the halfback position, as that's kind of a rotating door as of here in the last couple of seasons. We've been haven't really found the feature back really since Wendell K. Sun was here, and that was 2 or 3 seasons ago. So Larkin, definitely a guy we can could help us there. You see, he's more of a blocking fullback, but like I said, he can also catch and he can also run the ball. So he's a young man that we're definitely got our eyes on here, at least at Highland. Of course, Kansas State and Kansas are looking at him. So he's a Big 12 kid, and he wants to. Talking to him, he said he would like to play. He's wouldn't mind playing outside the state of Kansas, but Highland is one of his top choices. If not, then the other two Kansas schools would also suit him also as well. So I'm sure there will be a battle between the three of us going after him and trying to pick him up as a fullback there in that fullback position, or even not just the fullback position but also the halfback position there. So it's going to be a very interesting battle for him, and hopefully Highland can be on top of that one coming up here during this season. And like I said, it's a senior year here, and he's got hopefully one of the things he says is he's had a nagging leg injury, and he's hoping that will not dampen his chances of playing this year, as he's had this leg injury. I think, as he said, it was a knee for about 2 seasons now. So he's hoping things will go the right direction for him, and of course we hope the best there for him also. So we'll see how he does here in his senior year, and we'll definitely keep it up to date on his abilities and of course his numbers coming up this season. Of course, that's what we're going to do for all these young men that we're currently have on our that we're kind of looking at here. So next up is a young man, a wide receiver, Trent Brockmeyer from Milton, Vermont. I don't think we don't have too many East Coast kids that want to come to Highland, but this young man was submitted. 215 pounds, 7 foot tall, so definitely has the height there that we've been kind of lacking in here in the last couple of years. I think our tallest guy was probably either I think it's between Jeremy Little and Godfrey. I think they're both around the 6'4", 6'5". So this would be a tall kid. Definitely would help us out quite a bit. But he's gonna be a tough guy to go after. There's some big schools here. A lot of them are from the East Coast. I think we are. I can't remember exactly where we're at on his list, but he's got some good talent coming in here. He went all-state in both football and basketball last year. His true love is basketball, but started to enjoy playing basketball just last year. He's picked up the game very quickly, and talking to him, his brothers are more known. He has 2 older brothers who play football. One of them plays at Delaware, and the other one is going to, or is at, what is it? I can't think of what. Boston College. So the brother is the oldest brother is at Boston College. He is playing. This will be his, I believe it's sophomore year. He's actually going to play this season, and of course, his brother, who were a senior last year, now is a freshman this year, and he is playing at Delaware. So football's in the family. But Brock never really, he enjoyed watching football, enjoyed going to the games, but the game, he just never really wanted to play it, as he thought his abilities and skills were a lot more suited on the hardwood. But just last year, he was, his brothers kind of goaded him into doing it and trying it out. And his junior year, it was really good. He put up some really good numbers for his junior year, and it really impressed a lot of people, to the point where a lot of coaches, around the nation, seen this, and talking about it, and talking about his skills and whatnot. And he kind of says he kind of translates his basketball skills to the NFL, or to the college football, or the football game. and that's pretty much been what's helped him become successful there in high school. So there you see some of the schools: Army, Bowling Green, and Virginia Tech are some of the schools there. Army, the reason why he says the Army is looking at him is because his dad was in the service there, and they he has a great uncle that played for Army West Point back in the 80s. So they're of course trying to use that nostalgia and that family connection to try to get him there. He's a 5-star wide receiver there. So for us to get him, we're going to have to really impress him and do our best to try to go after him. He is not looking at us at all, but he is ranked number 2 in the nation for wide receivers. So he is definitely going to be a long shot there. But for the most part here, I think we have a shot at him. We have, pretty much these guys, we have some shot at them. Some of them are a lot tougher than others, but this will be a young man. I would really like to see him on this team, as we do need that height there. Like I said, our tallest 2 wide receivers are like 6'6", so having a 7-foot tall 250-pound wide receiver will be very helpful for us in the long, deep pass game that we're just kind of not with right now. That's just not one of our things. I know sitting down talking with Coach Bonds, that's he wants to do. He wants to have some more of a vertical game when it comes to his wide receivers. So the fourth submission here is Samson Stone. He is from Hagerstown, Maryland, and he is a young man who is bright and very talented. Growing up, junior high, he really excelled in sports and did really well, but not just in sports, but also in school. He's joined many school clubs, band, student council, foreign language, and many others. A lot of many of his friends and close friends and family can't believe how athletic he is. He was not really seen, at least talking to one of his closest friends, like he never really seen Samson pick up a basketball or any kind of ball of any kind. He's more known to pick up a book, but ever since his sophomore year, Samson has been into sports and has really excelled at them. He's played basketball, baseball, wrestling, golf, and now into football. So last year, the head coach of the high school team wanted Samson to play football, but because of his height and weight, and of course his hands, and it kind of worked out. Even Samson's father says he couldn't believe how well his son is. He didn't realize his son was athletic. He never really showed anyone that athleticism when it came to sports. But yeah, he picked up basketball or football pretty well there. And he got offers even last year, as they were trying to get kind of early acceptance from him to play football from many different schools around the area. But Samson and his teammates last year went to state for the first time in 25 years, and and he was one of the key factors to help them win the state championship by catching the game-winning catch. So congrats to him. And like I said, football was his last-minute thing that he started to pick up on, and he played golf and was decent at golf, but didn't really with of course baseball and basketball, but no one really they seen him with decent kind of average athleticism, but football he kind of really excelled in. So he's everybody was really impressed, and the game field at least I've seen really impressed with this young man. He could be a huge asset for a lot of different teams, and of course Coach Teddy Bonds is looking at him as an asset there that could help us out in our game. And it'll be it'll be a little bit of a long shot here, as he is not really on the radar for us, as he is all the way in the state of Maryland, so we don't really have a pipeline connection with him, but it could start a pipeline for us to try to get kids from that state to come to I guess the middle of the middle of the country there. So we'll see how we can try to persuade him to come to Highland. As we take a look at some of his numbers there, good release. Of course, he's got some decent pass blocking, and of course run blocking there as a tight end. But there's only one other guy that was a tight end on the team, and he ended up having to, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a injury, which led them not to have anybody play that tight end position, and so that's why the coach, seen that he was a pretty good athlete, and he said, hey, how about you try some football? So, but yeah, Brock Stone, there you see him there as a player that you guys submitted for this season, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, some of the schools that are looking at him, if we see here in just a bit, and those schools happen to be, come on now, hurry up, there we go. So there you see 6'7", 235 pounds. Looks like he is ranked 67th in wide receiver, in tight ends. But there you see Navy, Pitt, and Notre Dame. So yeah, of course you guys know the history about Highland and Notre Dame, been playing against each other for a couple, played each other just last season for the national championship, but even before that had a crazy series there. They played them in a neutral zone or neutral site there in Chicago a couple seasons ago and won both of those. And of course, Coach Bond says at some point here he would like to go to Notre Dame there in South Bend and play in that stadium and try to see if they can get a victory there in that game. So but there you see, he's they consider him a blocking tight end, but at the same time, he does have some good hands. He's got some decent speed for a tight end. But yeah, we'll see how where he'll go off here this season. But of course, like I said, we'll put him on our radar there as one of the players that we can try to go after. But it'll be a long shot because we do have some tight ends that we need to kind of focus in on coming up in this upcoming season. As Ramirez, I believe this will be his junior year, if not his senior year. So we'll definitely have to try to replace that position, that void there in the tight end position. As of course, Highland's been known to have some really good tight ends come in and help us out in the passing game there, and that's going to be something that's going to be very missed once Ramirez happens to leave and go off to the NFL. So we'll get to the next submission here, and of course in this video here today we're only going to do just the first 10 submissions that you guys have submitted. We'll get into this one here. It is, I believe, who is it? It's Brock Aries. Brock Aries from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He is he's 190, 6'4", so a pretty tall, lengthy kid, and it looks like he is going to be a kid that's going to flourish, because he's been going all state. He started all 4 years in high school. This is of course his senior year in high school that he's going to head into, but he is won all state and so far here in the first 3 years of his high school career. And this kid is a really talented kid. He comes from a talented family, and of course Brock is going to be at least talking to him, he says that he is going to be the first generation to go to college, and that's what some of his parents want, or that's both his parents want him to do. He does come from a family that his mother and father got divorced when he was only 8 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and so he's had to go through that issue of dealing with being a child of divorced parents. But it's worked out pretty well because both his step parents on both sides, his stepdad and his stepmom, have been very, very helpful, encouraging him and being good friends to him, and not overstepping their bounds as parental figures. He says at first he wasn't too sure about his step parents and if he was going to get along with it, but over time, they've kind of helped him and encouraged him to play sports, and of course do the best he can on the field, regardless of his abilities. And so far, like I said, he's been all-state in both in football and in wrestling. So and of course he has a pretty good he's got good zone coverage. I was looking at a game. I think it was the second to last game of the season, and he had 3 interceptions that he took back for pick sixes. He just knows how to read the quarterback's eyes very, very well, and that's what a lot of the coaches around the nation are talking about him, and getting him. Of course, that's what Coach Bonds was telling us about this young man, on his ability of what he can do there in that secondary there. So. For the most part here, he's, like I said, a really talented kid, and he's also played some wide receiver there, so we could see him in that wide receiver kind of role. So I guess you could say he's a bit of more of an athletic type of player than just a CB. But like I said, all-state in both football and wrestling. Asked him which sport he thought which sport did he enjoy the most, and he honestly said he couldn't really decide. He likes both. So take a look here. There you see Southern Miss Georgia and the University of Southern California are looking at him, and there you see he's a 3-star athlete, and of course we're not on his radar there, but anything's possible. And of course I know Coach Bonds has some connections there in South Carolina, and I am sure he would like to work with this young man. And of course, he wouldn't necessarily get he would have to sit out if we did happen to pursue him and eventually do get him. He would definitely have to sit out next season, as we have a bit of a log jam right now when it comes to the CB position and, of course, the wide receiver position. Both are we got very talented young men in those two positions there. And CB, unfortunately, is one of those ones that we have way too much of. They say you can never have too much of a good thing, but in this case here, it's kind of tough. So we're kind of because we're moving a lot of our wide receivers that are not really making it. They've already redshirted it, but need playing time, so we're kind of moving them over to corners, safeties, and free safeties. So we're going to be kind of locked down in those for the next probably the next 2 years or 2 or 3 years. But I think with this young man here, I mean, if he can play both sides of the ball, that's just more more so of his safety net for him, because that shows right there that he has he's kind of guaranteed a position somewhere on the team. With his abilities that he can do there on the field. So we'll see how that all plans out and comes out here in the next couple of here in the near future. But for the most part here, it's worked out. He's been playing very well. I believe they start the season here coming up here in about another week or two. So we'll keep you guys up to date of what he can do there on the field for us. Next up is Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez, a submission that you guys submitted from Fairview, Alabama. And he says he's a Bama kid all around, as he is 6'1", 200 pounds, and he is looking to play for, his dream school, of course, is to play for Alabama. That is on his list of, or at least one of the schools that he wants to go to. But if that's not the case, then he does have a chance to go, as he is he's currently right now in high school and in the RLTC program, and he is trying to get himself into to Army West Point there. So Army West Point is one of the schools that are considering him. He's being looked at by them, and possibly getting there to play there as a wide receiver. So yeah, this one's gonna be a tough one to try to go after, but nonetheless, he has pretty good speed for his size, and especially for his height there, which will not take too much for him, especially jump balls there. They should be in more his favor, more so than anything, as his height is just really helping him out. He has played. He's playing, of course, staying conditioned throughout the year. He's playing not just football, but also playing basketball and soccer. So he's playing. He's a multi-talented sports high school kid, into a lot of things there. As you take a look at there, he's more of a possession. Like I said, with his height there, that would really come in handy for him, getting the height, and of course, a decent jump there. So he does pretty well. Not to mention, if you take a look there, his throw, he's got some decent throw power. He said a couple of times he's been thrown into the position of playing quarterback. So again, we've got some really talented, athletic kids in these prospects here this season. He says that he played a little bit of quarterback his sophomore year, as I believe that he told me the story was that two of the quarterbacks there got in trouble and had broke some team rules, so he had to play quarterback a couple games there. So kid, he has some abilities there, not just as a wide receiver, but also possibly on the other side of the ball there, or on that offensive side there, not just a wide receiver, but also a quarterback. So like I mentioned, Alvarez being looked at by, there you see the top school being Army, of course Georgia Tech, and BYU. So we could possibly see him in the Big 12 there if he goes to BYU. As of course, BYU is a part of our the new redone the newly Big 12 that we have here in this series. He is definitely a guy that could definitely do some damage. I'm hoping he'll go to Army or to Georgia Tech, because if he goes to BYU, that is going to be a horrible time for us, because we've had some seasons here lately playing BYU, especially when we were in independent school, and we played them on our schedule. We scheduled those because the rule was we had to schedule all the independent schools on our roster. Half the schedule had to be independent schools there. We had some battles with them, and it was I'm just not looking forward to playing BYU. Of course, that's always the last game of the season, but nonetheless, it's one of those games that gets really for myself, it gets really heated there. So hopefully Alvarez will go to those other two schools. Hopefully he does not show up to BYU, but again, just never know, and so we'll have to find out if where he's going to do. But he's got talent on, he's a 4-star athlete. He's got some hella talent within him, and I think he'll do great things regardless of wherever he goes to here in the near future. So Eddie Alvarez, like I said, Fairfield, Alabama. There you see a 4-star athlete there with him. So we'll get to the next young man here coming up, as looks like it's going to be Bruno Robinson. And Bruno is from Dodge City, Kansas. As we're just waiting for the screen to load up here. Go to the next one. Bruno. Bruno and our young man that we mentioned earlier from Wamego, Kansas. That being Grant, the Illinois Grant. They actually know each other. It was funny. They were actually when we were interviewing Grant, he mentioned Robinson, and we told him, like, hey, we're about to interview Robinson. So, but Bruno Robinson from Dodge City, Kansas, out in Western Kansas. There, another local kid that we're looking at, and we'll see here if I can pull up his information on him here. Where's it at? Oh, okay, there we go. And of course, from Dodge City, Kansas, and he is a young man. By the looks of this, looks like here on my notes it says 6'4", 255 pounds, right or outside linebacker. You play either left or right, but decent speed, actually really good speed for his size as a linebacker. But more importantly, good intelligence, great awareness for him, and it can read offenses very, very well. Thing is, with him, he has some issues when it comes to his schoolwork. He admits that he's not the best scholar athlete, and that is what's kind of hindering his chances to go to a D1 school. So talking to him and his parents said that a lot of junior colleges have been looking at him and told him that that was a great path for him to kind of go play 2 years at a junior college and then and then move on to a Division I school. Of course, especially his mom says she really wants him to stay home, close to home. See, he is the baby of the family. He has 3 other siblings, and of course, we asked him about that. And he's like, "Yeah, mom wants me to, the mom wants me to stay home, close to home. She doesn't, necessarily want me to move too far away. She wants to keep a close eye on me." But he says he's ready to, kind of step up to the next level there and help out the, and be an impact for, whatever school he goes to. But he knows that his grades are an issue and it's a factor. So he's been getting extra tutoring in that situation, trying to get his scores up higher, especially his testing scores. And his last couple times now, he's taking some of the standardized tests. His numbers have gone up some more and more. So happy to hear about that. But there you see some of those Division I schools that are kind of looking at him. You got Tulane, Southern Miss, and Western Michigan as some of the ones that are looking at him. A 3-star athlete. Like I said, they can't, not too many schools can pass that up on a young man who is just trying to do his best. He knows he's not the best, scholarly, student athlete, but at the same time, that's something you cannot pass on. And of course, we're looking at him also there. We're not really necessarily on his radar, but we're definitely on his. Or maybe did I say that right? I'm not sure. We're definitely looking at him. I know he's not necessarily looking at us, but he says he wouldn't mind coming to our school because it's within the state, and mom and dad would only be just about 4 or 5 hours away from him. So he says that he likes what we've been doing here at Highland, and would love to be a part of that also, and still be in the state of Kansas. So, but yeah, there's Bruno Robinson there, one of the young men there that we're looking at here. And like I said, great man coverage and zone, more so zone coverage there. He is, like I said, got a good eye on watching the quarterback and understanding what the offense are trying to do. So his intelligence, at least football IQ, is pretty darn high, and that's what we like to see when it comes to our outside linebackers. And like I said, outside linebacker wise, I think he'll be more better fit on the left side because we're I think we have one person playing on the left side. But that's where I think Coach Bonds will probably more or less put him at there when it comes to position-wise in that linebacker core there that we have. So, like I said, Tulane, Southern Miss, and Western Michigan are some schools there that are taking a look at him, and of course, want to try to sign him to the sign him as a student athlete here at Highland. Next up is another player here from this time from the West Coast here from Utah. He's from Washington, Utah. His name is Dustin Blackwell, 6'2", 185 pounds. Another wide receiver, and another kid that is almost pretty similar to what we have right now already when it comes to wide receivers. That is Godfrey, who is our now I think this year he's a sophomore, or no, it's either his sophomore or junior year. I want to say his sophomore year. But if you remember, Godfrey just came out right out of the gate his freshman year playing and was very impressive here. And he's kind of one of those dark horses that could be possibly be in that Heisman talk. As for Blackwell, young man from Washington, Utah. It's actually, oddly enough, it was actually named after the first president, George Washington. So that was something that he told us when we were talking to him, getting some information for this video. But Blackwell, he's actually he follows the Mormon faith. So and of course, when he tells people that, he doesn't, he just says, he just lets them know that he's Mormon. He doesn't try to push on any of the beliefs that the Mormons have, but he wants, at least talking to us, he says that he wants to show that Mormon people that follow the Mormon faith are just like everybody else. They're human beings just as well. There's nothing special about them. But he is a follower of the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, and of course believes in the Mormon faith, but it's not. But he doesn't practice, the early practices of that. He doesn't believe in having multiple wives or anything like that. He just believes in what the church believes in their doctrine there. So, but his mother and father own owns a small car dealership, and also owns a bakery. So they're in Washington, Utah. But he's, I believe, the third child out of 5. He has two older brothers and 2 younger sisters. And of course, he just, like I said, he just wants to, play football and just enjoy football and not worry about necessarily being just seen as just the Mormon. There you see Northwestern, Kent State, and of course Oklahoma State are the 3 schools they're looking at him. But yeah, the young man has really great ability on the field. He went All-State just last year for the first time, and I believe he played in a state All-Star game, and was he came a couple of votes shy of being the player of the game there. So big ups to him. Like I said, great speed, and most importantly, he's a very good possession player, and that can be very helpful for any squad out there. And he's a very young, nice young man. Talking to him, he says he enjoys just everything else everybody else does, and just wants to not necessarily promote the Mormon faith, but just let everyone know that Mormons are people too. So, but hopefully we'll get to see him and hear more about him. Hopefully we can make an attempt of going after him in the near future here for this series, and we'll see what he can do to help provide hopefully another victory here for us on this road of trying to get back to the national championship. So there you see, 3-star athlete there. Of course, we have not scouted him yet. We're going to be doing that here soon, and we'll see exactly where he's at. Right now, they say he's at 65 overall, but I think he might be somewhere around that 70, mid 70s look when it comes to, mid 70s overall there when it comes to the final overalls beforehand. So we'll see how that goes. Now, coming up next is Connor Stark, 6'5", 240 pounds, from Alderman, Oregon. He's a middle linebacker, and he's another one of those great middle linebackers out there that are out there. He says that he wants to play for a Pac-12 school. So teams like, he's been in several visits with Oregon and Oregon State. He said he wouldn't mind. He does want to, staying in state is good. He says it'll help his family out here financially, but at the same time too, he's willing if he can get a full ride going somewhere out of the state, somewhere places like in California. And I asked him what schools would he like to go to in California, and he's told me schools like UCLA or University of South California, or even if San Diego, small school like San Diego State or San Jose State, he's willing to go to. He said even the only school he said he did not want to go to, because he's an Oregon Ducks fan, he said it was in the state of Washington. So Washington and Washington State were out of his he would not accept. And he said that, of course, playfully there, that he does not like the Huskies or the Cougars at all. But he says whatever school thinks they that want to take a shot on him, he's willing to take. And so and you never know. But Connor's a really funny kid. He likes joking around with people, like to play practical jokes. But he's a middle linebacker, so pretty decent speed. Awareness is not the greatest for him. He does make some bad decision makings on the field, and that was said here in the last game of the season, where he made a very bad and undisciplined, he even says undisciplined, play, which caused his team to give up a huge play. Would have been a 4th down, and they would have got the ball back, but being, as he said, undisciplined out there that game, and kind of got his emotions getting the best of him, ended up being a penalty, which helped the other team get a 1st down, and of course march on to win the game. But Western Virginia is looking at him, LSU, and of course, look at that, USC looking at him. And USC has been having some really good linebackers, not just in my other series there on the second channel with the Stanford Cardinal, but also here in this series they've been having some good linebackers who've been really winning several awards here in the last couple of seasons there. So going there, he gets he'll have to sit out 1 year. He'll definitely get redshirted, but they will keep working with him for those next 3 or 4 years. He will definitely be a monster there that I probably would have to try to do my best to avoid, but at the same time, be kind of piquing my interest there. Now, he's got some interest in us. We're 8th on his list, and so we'll see if we can try to go after him and kind of make some moves to try to convince him to come here to Highland. But of course, it's going to be a bit of a mountain to climb to try to convince him to come to Highland and be a part of the Highland Scotties defense there. So a lot of work will have to be done to try to convince him, and of course especially try to have him come all the way from the state of Oregon to the state of Kansas. It's gonna be a bit of a culture shock for him, I think. But he said at the same time, if there's whatever schools out there, if it's have to be on the other side of the country, if they're willing to take a shot at him, he's willing to go out there and try. All right, and now I believe this is the last guy on our list here, Rex Murdoch. He is from Millbury, Florida, and this kid is a bit of an athlete. This kid has he plays all sports. in high school. They call him Mr. Slash, not because of the slashes he makes on on the bread at the local Subway, but they call him that because of the multiple sports he plays and the positions that he can play. Baseball, he's known to play positions in the infield and pitcher, of all things. But also, too, he's known to play a lot of multiple positions in football. He's played wide receiver, safety, corner, and free safety. And then occasionally even sometimes playing quarterback. So he's hasn't broke too many records, but he's been playing multiple positions. And he's got quite a few awards for doing that. Kind of being a utility guy. Last year, his little high school went to the semifinals where they ended up losing the game because of a field goal. But that was something he says that he's hoping that this year will not be the case. But like I said, a very talented kid. He plays multiple positions. And that's like an asset that really can be very helpful, not just for him, but also for the school he goes to. If they happen to have a guy that's down in one position and don't really feel comfortable having the next guy behind him start, he would definitely be a person that could help out with the team. So we'll see how that goes coming up here in the future for him. That is something, I know talking to Coach Teddy Bonds about, he said that was something that he was really wanting to see more of, get more athletic kids out there. And you can't get no more athletic than Rex Murdoch there. As he's pretty much, the guy that I know that's on Coach Bonds' list this season to make an appearance, or at least to come to the school and visit the school and try to kind of sway him to come to Highland. But like I said, it's going to be a big challenge there, as a lot of schools are looking into him. As you take a look at his stats here, and he's going to be a kid that is going to have a big bright future. Work with him just enough on a lot of different things there. He could be a huge asset for somebody out there. Hopefully he does not go to a school like a Bama or something like that, because he would just be a nightmare for all the other schools out there. But yeah, he's very well. I mean, you can put him on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, and he would do very well and be very knowledgeable of what he needs to do there on the field when it comes to that position. So we'll see where he goes off to. Now, his prime position, of course, is wide receiver. But like I said, he can play also on the defensive side of the ball as a safety or as a corner there. There you see, we're not really on his list, but schools that are on his list right now is Northwestern, Kent State, and of course Toledo. So yeah, he's definitely a 4-star kid. I would even say I might even say he's more or less a 5-star type of caliber athlete out there. But we'll see where he goes off to. And like I said, we'll try to do our best to target him and try to see what we can do to get him to come to HCC next for the next fall. Hopefully, and of course, if he does come here next fall, he probably would be a starter in the wide receiver position. Like I said, wide receivers and corners are a logjam right now, but we're kind of moving guys. Especially, we're kind of corners. I know we're a logjam in, and wide receivers we are. But in the other, the safeties positions, the free safety and strong safety, we're kind of moving guys from our wide receivers and our corners over to those other positions. So, if he was here next year, he probably would be playing wide receiver to start off, and then maybe somewhere down the line, if we needed him to play defense, he would be perfect for it. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. And like I said, a lot of choices out there because there's many other players that I've looked on the board here this year. There are just too many to pick from, and it's going to be really tough to narrow it down. Now, one of the things, like I mentioned, I think in the last episode or last video we had, is we need offensive linemen. So that's going to be, of course, our key thing that we need to be doing next season is to work on the offensive line, because I mean, we really need to work on the offensive line. It's kind of now kind of just bare bones, if best, that we can call it, to help us out. But that is it for this first part of the prospect profiles here. We'll get to the next 10 coming up in the next episode, you guys. So stay tuned for more here on the channel as we show you the next 10 players that Coach Bonds is looking at for next season. And of course, once we get done with that, then we'll get started for season 6 of the Highland Scotties here in this here on NCAA 14. But that's it for this episode of the Scotties Sports Talk. As always, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new. Hit that bell notification so you guys can be notified of this series or any other series here on the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord for the latest news on what's going on here on the channel. And don't forget, we do now live stream over on Twitch on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central, Fridays at 1 p.m. Central, and Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Central. So thank you guys for stopping by. And of course, please stop on by over there, hang out with me, as we got a really cool, interesting NCAA series over there right now of the UTSA Roadrunners. So definitely stop by, hang out, and check us out there on Twitch. But that's it for me. As always, keep yourselves each other healthy, and I will see you all next time.